You should.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Breaking news. Miami Mall alien spotted. What's up, guys? How's it going tonight? I hope we're live. Please let us know if you can hear us. Welcome to the show. We're live an hour earlier tonight because we are actually live and it's not so late for Aaron over on the East Coast and Foil. So we're happy you guys could make it. Um, we have a lot to get into tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. And just a reminder, if you're interested in coming to our conference, tickets are for sale, rebelsofdisclosure.com. We have a great lineup this year. It's less than 5 months away. We're really excited about it. Going to try and drag Foil out of the cockpit there where she's at and get her over to the conference. So you should come, Foil. I know you
You
always
know,
talk about it.
I know. I tell you every year, like I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be there, and then there's some catastrophe or some shenanigans that prevents my attendance. But I do want to be there. I have been greatly considering taking my time to come, like my time from work to come. I would love to do that.
There's got to be like there's got to be an underground tunnel that those
There,
Jews dug.
has, man. It's the Shalom Shank Redemption, man. They got the tunnels. I can just come, right? Just like I'm sure my truck will just fit right in there. It's a plan,
Right.
There you
right?
go.
It's a plan.
And apparently the Jews already got them dug for you. So
That's what we're learning. 2024 has been
right.
crazy already, man. Right?
I know.
That's been
Um,
Crazy already.
uh, so yeah, guys, just a few more things about the conference. As you know, the venue itself is sold out, and we get a lot of messages, people worried that they can't find a place, but there's plenty of hotels and Airbnbs nearby. There's never been a problem the past 2 years. If you know, on the website, we list a number of options, and you can camp. I
you
encourage
can
people
camp
to
on
camp.
site.
It's a
Yeah.
it's beautiful grounds, and it's all walking distance, and a few of the conferences that Aaron and I have been to, there was really no other option than camping, and
Mhm.
it's just a fun experience. And we have the bonfires every night and the sky watches, so it's just going to be a lot of fun. And we hope you guys can make it. And if you can't make it and you're in another part of the world, the live stream passes are also available, and you will be able to ask questions to the presenters at the end of their presentation if they do a Q&A. So there's a lot of cool features, and all of the in-person tickets come with a live stream pass that has a 6-month replay on it. So if you can't catch it live, or if you were at the conference and you want to go back and rewatch it, I mean, there's a lot of options. So rebelsofdisclosure.com, all of that information is below. Actually, I don't know if I put it in the description yet. I think I did already. But anyway, if not, it'll be in there after the show. So anyway, how's it going, Foil? How's it going, Aaron? What's up, guys?
Good.
It's
Very
fantastic,
good.
right? I'm very stoked about the propensity for woo already this year. I think we're looking at a great conspiracy forecast for 2024. I mean, we've already got, alien mall attacks. We've got, corpses on the moon. We've got jellyfishes and like I said, the Shalom Shank redemption. I'm excited to
Shalom
see what
Shake
happens. I'm waiting.
Shalom.
Yeah,
Shalom Shake Redemption is my
Right.
it's
favorite.
the Shalom Shank redemption. I'm very excited about the woo forecast for this year.
I
That's where
used
I'm at.
I used to
Yeah.
watch that movie Shawshank Redemption when I was a kid with my mom, and I was always amazed how he dug the hole through the concrete, and
Right.
and he had to put a poster
Like,
over it. And I was like, how did he do that? It was so amazing to me.
Bro, when you are
Right,
determined, you know? You will
right.
find a way.
And just drop it out of his pockets through his pants every
Hmm.
day, a little bit at a time. Um, so guys, I know everybody on the internet at this point has already covered the Miami Mall incident, whatever you want to call it. And we figured we will just weigh in on it and give our 2 cents. And we're gonna play some videos. I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna, take a look at it and just kind of deep dive into it. We're gonna bring in some different perspectives, and we're gonna get into some other stuff and just have fun with it. So, but we're not gonna sit here and tell you what happened because we weren't there. We don't know, but we are gonna, dive into this and explore all of the possibilities, from the craziest possibilities to the most boring explanation out there that it's just a teenage fight.
Teenagers fighting with sticks. I mean, how
Right.
prosaic, right?
Right.
They needed 100 police cars and tons of helicopters for that.
They
Does that
did.
make
They
that
did.
makes
You
sense?
never know. You know,
There's
teenagers can those teenagers, they can be crazy.
teenagers, no
You know,
joke, man. You got to get the whole police force
whippersnappers,
to
right?
Miami.
Right. But I mean, so the interesting thing is it kind of reminds me of the snakes on a plane, the Peru
Yeah.
attacks or whatever that we covered, the jetpack guys.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's a similar
crazy.
type
Jetpack.
of story that went
Jetpack
viral.
miners.
Yeah,
Jetpack miners. It was jetpack
That
miners.
was
yeah.
great.
Nothing to see.
That's it. That's actually what it was at Miami. It was jetpack miners.
It was.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's very similar in the fact that it went viral in a very similar way. And everybody had a video about it. Everybody has their opinion, and nobody, gets so you get so far removed from the event horizon, nobody actually knows what even happened, and it's all speculation. Videos are being removed, and then people are putting fake videos claiming that they were there and they saw this, and then they put a rebuttal video saying, "Oh, I made that up," and then you have people claiming that, oh, he was forced, he was, visited by the FBI, and they told him to silence and, take back his story. Nobody knows what happened, so we're gonna just have some fun with it and see what we can come up with. But first of all, what do you guys think it was? Foil, you first.
Well,
I
you want
don't
to go
know,
first?
man. I think what you said, that's like the theme for the past few years, right? Is to throw so much shit at us that we don't know what is actually going on, right? That's the plan, just to leave us in confusion, right? Just massive confusion. I have no idea what happened there, right? I want to believe. I want to believe that there were shadow beings, 10-foot tall shadow beings at the mall. If you're going to go interdimensionally shopping, why not go to the Bayside Mall in Miami? I can't find a good reason, right? I want to believe that. I don't know, though. I am very confused as to why we needed a citywide alert, why every cop in Miami had to go for some teens that now there are videos of them brawling, right? And I get it, like they wild out, it happens. But why did you a citywide hundreds of police, right?
Right.
Now people were claiming that there was
Helicopters and
helicopters, right?
helicopters.
People were claiming that there was no, like, that they had shut down, um that there was no record of the police calls, the scanner. That was debunked. Like, I actually saw the heard the actual scanner post during the time that it was like that was actually real. Like, there are some parts of the story that people were saying that there was a power outage within however many blocks and this and that, and that was found not to necessarily be true. However, to create that level of chaos and to call in that many cops, and then for there to be um such a melee about what actually happened, I really have no idea. I have no idea.
Right. Well, that's a great
Right.
analysis. Yeah.
Right.
And
To me, well, so you look at the facts of what happened. So there were tons and tons of police cars, which something big clearly had, like all those police cars, all those helicopters. It wasn't, and then they tell you it was teens fighting. Like, it's just like the most obvious lie. Like, they weren't even trying. Like, to me, that's almost like they're telling you without telling you, because like they didn't even try to come up with a believable
They
cover
didn't.
story. They didn't
They
even try
didn't.
to come up with a believable
Mm.
cover story. Oh, it was the teens fighting.
They were shooting firecrackers at each other.
well, I mean,
It's almost like they wanted everyone to know, hey, this is not what actually happened, something big, but we can't tell you. But clearly, this is a lie, guys. That's what I got from it. They wanted us to know something big happened, but they couldn't actually tell us.
well, yeah, and it's interesting because I don't know
But
how
was it holograms? Was it
right.
real ETs or interdimensional beings? At first I thought it was most likely holograms, because we're all thinking, oh, Project Blue Beam, they're trying to scare us, they're trying to do, these psyops. And that would make sense, except then I thought about, well, wait, if it was that, those things are coordinated with the government, with the media, and then it would be across the board, they would be like, oh, aliens, right?
They were,
But that's not what happened. What happened was they made a fake cover story, and the media went with the fake, oh, it was teens fighting, nothing to see here.
Right.
And tried to kind of cover it up and sweep it away. Well, that doesn't line up with if it was blue beam or holograms, the media would be all over that shit, right? They would be running with that, but they
Right.
didn't. That doesn't really line up to me. So I think it was actual
So
some kind of ETs or interdimensional beings that weren't supposed to be seen, but they were for whatever reason.
and here's what I have to say about like the potential portal, which I'll play a video of that too. Actually, let me just read like the basic report for anybody who just might not know. Um, January 1st, 2024, it was reported, and by the way, it was on the first, like literally the first day of
Right.
the new year.
Literally the first.
It was reported that 9 to 10 foot tall shadow aliens emerged from a portal inside of the Bayside Mall in Miami. As people panicked and some shot at the creatures, the humanoid aliens were said to begin attacking as they cloaked and shapeshifted. Ooh. Um, the power in the surrounding area was shut off. Airspace above the mall was restricted. The police scanners went dark. Official reports by law enforcement state that a group of teenagers got into a brawl and shot fireworks, and the police were called. Around 100 officers arrived, along with over 60 patrol cars and helicopters patrolled overhead. But all for a teenage brawl sounds a little suspicious, and many believe there is so much more to the story than meets the eye. Was this brawl a cover story for an actual alien encounter? Could this be the beginning of a Project Bluebeam and the highly anticipated predicted, quote, alien invasion? So that's that. Now, let's just, I think we could, just us three right here, if we could all collectively agree that we believe in portals, we think portals are real and
Oh
possible.
yeah.
So
Yep.
here's the thing, and I realize this among everybody. Like we all believe in this stuff, but when it shows up, we don't believe it because we don't
Right.
expect to see it. We don't expect to see the things that we believe exist. So when a video does surface, it immediately has to be fake because it's some
It's
sort of cognitive
right.
dissonance.
Must be fake, must be CGI.
Mhm.
Right. And but that's just it. It's like, why are we calling bullshit on stuff that we know is real? And that's why, like, that's
Right.
where I'm at. I'm like, maybe we just start looking at this stuff as like real events, you know, read it like the tabloids and just take it take it. I mean, it
Right.
is like watching the tabloids in real life. But
Right.
Well, we also don't want to get caught believing something that is easily falsifiable
right,
either. We don't
Yeah.
we don't want to just like, yes, I absolutely believe in portals. I believe in shadow beings. I believe in alien life. I believe the whole gamut of these things. I absolutely believe. But I also know that they put out they'll push us down a road. They want us to
Mhm.
follow a certain track of thinking, and they'll grab certain things and leave other things out, and maybe we're not getting the whole story. So
Yes,
I
sir.
want all the information. Like it's
Yeah.
possible because they're showing videos of the teens fighting at the mall. Well, listen, if people were shooting at these aliens or shooting fireworks, it is possible that in the commotion, in the scramble, the fights broke out. Like that is completely reasonable, right?
Mhm.
So they
right,
could have grabbed that, pushed that as the narrative. It was just a fight. Well, maybe it wasn't just a fight. Like we don't know. We don't
right,
know, you know. But I also believe that there are people like, I love TikTok. I love me some TikTok. Uh, but they'll jump on it like that, like the dude that initially came out and I was with my girl and we went down to Miami and we were vacationing or whatever, whatever, and I was in there and they were sliding all over the place. Like, did he just jump on this for clout? Was he trying to be funny? Did he really retract his story because the government came and told him to pull it down? Like, who we don't know. We don't know.
right. Right. So, and
Right.
it was what my very first initial thought was interagency operation. I felt like it was some sort of like intentional release of these beings, like as an experiment or to push some fear narrative, but then it gets totally debunked and on all levels, you know. So I'm like, okay, well um, maybe they don't, maybe that wasn't it. Because if the mainstream media
Mhm.
was saying, you know, like you said earlier,
They would have ran with the fear.
they
They
would have
didn't.
they would have
It
ran
just
with the fear.
didn't line up.
So that
Yeah.
was my initial thought, like some sort of interagency operation, you know, or maybe it was, and just it was unbeknownst to everyone. And or sometimes we might be caught in the middle of a shadow war. Here's what it reminds me of: an episode of Fringe. We're watching an
I love
episode of
Fringe.
Fringe right
Yes.
now,
Right.
Best show ever.
and all of that, like, can you imagine like an episode and how they go and it's the craziest thing, and then they have a cover story and they're like, oh,
Can
don't,
we get Walter Bishop on the case? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
please, can we get him on the case? That's all I
Where's Walter
need.
Bishop?
Where
Yeah.
is Walter Bishop?
Where's Peter and Olivia?
What would
Right.
Walter Bishop do? So, but
Right.
think about that though, and like they even like jokingly say in the show about how like it's amazing what the public will believe, and they'll just throw like some
Mhm.
mundane cover story and everyone just like, oh yeah, the building blew up last night, haha, and that's it. And they have no idea that some shapeshifter came in from another universe and tried to kill three people and they were stopped by, bolt of
Right.
lightning, whatever. Like the
Right.
craziest thing happened, but it gets
Because those
silenced.
things aren't real,
Right.
Well,
people won't believe that, and they'll believe whatever cover story you throw.
the
Oh,
problem
okay.
is that people still think things like portals are magic. This
Right.
isn't
No,
magic. This is
no.
science.
It's
Okay, it's
right.
expanded science. It may be fringe science, but this is based on just like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, everybody would have cried about the idea of directed energy weapons.
Yeah.
Bro, they've got them on naval ships. Like they can
Yeah. But guess what?
there's the whole Havana City. Like, come on now. This is a
Hey,
totally a thing.
right. Go if we could travel back in time 100 years and take your phone with you, your
Yeah, you'd be
smartphone,
burned as a
everyone would
witch.
everyone would think it's magic, or yeah, or you're a witch, or
Yeah, like,
you're clearly from the future because or you're an alien,
but
because
people
this would
still
blow their
think
mind.
that this is outside of the realm of possibility.
Right.
I don't even look at things as outside of the realm of the possible. I look at things as is it within the realm of the probable or the improbable. I don't even discount things in whole anymore. It's either probable or improbable. That does not make it impossible. You feel
And
me?
if there were five cop cars, I would probably not even look twice at this. I'm like, yeah, that's, nothing. I don't know. It was just such a grand show. Anyway, I'm going to share my
Right.
screen and well, unless you want to say something else, Aaron, but I'm going to share my screen and we can go through some of this stuff.
No, and that so there were gunshots heard in some of the videos too, right?
Yeah.
Like you
Mhm.
could hear gunshots.
Right.
So why would there be unless
They said they were shooting fireworks at each other.
those were
Like,
not
if this is a
fireworks?
teen brawl, then those are gunshots,
No, those
Right.
were
right?
Right.
gunshot
Yeah, those are,
noises. Those
I
were
mean,
not
choose
fireworks.
your story, media. Like,
Right.
come on
Right.
now.
Well, there
Aaron,
you
what's
go.
the name of that kid that black guy you shared the video?
Oh yeah.
He covers the Galactic Federation stuff a lot. He was he,
King Cash, or I'm
Yeah,
King Cash.
yeah. His coverage was hilarious. He's
Yeah.
like, everybody was running. He's like, grandmas was running. People was getting out of wheelchairs and running. I was like, that's hilarious. Um,
Grandma's was running. Let's
yeah,
get out
it
of
was
Right.
wheelchairs.
so funny. But he was like so passionate about it. He's like people
Yeah.
getting out of wheelchairs and running. Um, all right, so I'm gonna share my screen. I think I have an answer for what it is. Share sound.
Oh yeah. This is- Yes.
So, what were y'all doing in Miami? What were y'all doing in Miami? Miami? Don't play stupid with me. There are reports that there were aliens at the Bayside Mall in Miami. What were y'all doing in Miami? Sir, I don't think that was us. That wasn't us this time. Yeah. That wasn't us. We are in the mall. Bitch, why I just got some shoes from Coach that was $354? I thought they was $299. Child, you know Earth got taxes. Oh yeah. We out here in Miami. Looking for the hoochie daddy. What is everybody screaming, child? Sir, I'm pretty sure ain't nobody see us.
So as we running, we look back and we notice some weird shapes taller than me. I'm 6'2".
First of all, he lying. I'm like 5'3". and I'm only 5'5", so I don't know what he talking about. And plus, we already abducted that nigga. Where he at? Back there. That's the wrong Nick.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Right.
I don't even know how to get back out of this screen. That's I saw that earlier.
I'm
And
sold.
Yeah, that's
I'm
hilarious.
sold. That
I'm sold. That's
Well,
all
I
I
guess
needed to see.
all right, show's over. That's
Right? Mystery solved.
what happened.
Right.
Mystery solved.
Um,
Good night, everyone.
so oh yeah. Well, there's another video I want to play, but I mean, just why won't this blow up? Like for a teenage brawl, right?
Right.
Right.
That I mean
Yep.
that
That makes
alone, the
sense.
picture alone says it all.
Right. It
Now,
was literally like the entire Miami police force.
can you
That's crazy. A citywide alert. And like
can you
all of y'all gotta come.
can you see my cursor on here or not?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the area right here where that one video was shot and it was like that wispy thing moving. I've looked at a number of camera angles of that, and it's pretty much, in my opinion, clearly two people walking. And the main video that everybody sees is actually mirrored for some reason. And
Mm.
there's another video which is a different angle, and you can even see two people right there. So
Yeah, for
like
sure.
that wispy thing, I really do think was people walking. Um, it just makes sense. If it was something I felt like you would have seen them surrounded. Anyway, I got to figure out how to go back on this thing.
Yeah, see, the weirdest thing to me isn't like that video with the little wispy thing, like that like that misconstrues the situation. The weirdest part of this entire thing was the citywide alert, man. Not a few of y'all come, not some of y'all, all of y'all got to come to the mall. All the cops, every
Right.
one of y'all
All the
to the
cops.
mall right now. For what?
Right. And here's the
Something really, really, really big happened that they're not telling us. That's what.
So here's that portal footage, which I find very interesting. Um, there's got to be a way to just click on this.
Portals and shape-shifting interdimensional aliens at the Miami Mall. Well, new footage showing a portal opening up inside the mall and people running. So, was there actually guns being shot at these aliens, or was there actually fights going on? The amount of cops that showed up was just shocking. So a lot of people don't actually realize that we are actually not even existing in a 3D world anymore. The planet has fully been in the fourth dimension since last year, which means the underworld has collapsed. The astral plane is right here on the surface of the planet. This is what Ascension is all about. All these veils to other worlds, other dimensions collapsing and allowing multidimensionality to exist right here in the human body. But a lot of these, of course, could be Project Bluebeam, could be a lot of holograms being created to try to see what would happen in the public. Have to realize that the astral plane is here right now, and people's biggest fears are being manifested in real life, in the physical.
I'll just keep
I have
going.
lots of videos on Earth 1111 talking about all of this, including who are these aliens? Are they demons? Are they something negative?
Anyway, I just really wanted to show the portal, really, but I just figured I'd let it play. Let's go back and look at that portal one more time.
Portals and shape-shifting
Actually, I'm gonna go slow here. So obviously, like that person fell. Like, watch the people's reactions. That's what I'm looking at. Like the person that falls there, that's like kind of what you do if you're literally scared and your legs give out.
Right.
So it disappears.
Somebody
and
said
then
that looks like the Doctor Strange portal, which it does. It does look like the Doctor Strange portal, but those people also look like they're trying to like they're investigating something for sure.
Right. Now, who knows? This could be a completely fabricated CGI video. We don't know.
Man, that we never know anymore.
Right.
It's only going to get worse.
Right. And then there's a bunch of videos of
portals and shape-shifting interdimensional aliens.
There's a bunch of videos of the the creature. Like you can see this picture here. Like I don't know where these videos come from. That's my thing.
So someone DM me this video, which is an interview in Spanish, and then it shows this video. So I'm just showing you a little bit of what the guy's talking about. But everything that happened in Miami, we got to stay curious. I'm not sure about this though, but check out the interview.
30 patrullas y un helicóptero andaban siguiendo en la noche de Miami a esta criatura.
I'm definitely shooting and
What do you
running if
guys
that thing
think?
shows up.
I mean, obviously the quality is always bad, but like, how can you recreate that? That looks like a lizard demon
Este es
alien
otro video
entity.
de la criatura. Camina en 4 patas y tiene una cola muy al estilo de los aliens de las películas de Sigourney Weaver. Y pues bueno.
Is this a movie?
De aliens.
Is
Bueno,
this
ya saben
footage
que no
from a
salen
movie?
pestañas, pero pues yo sí creo que existen. A lo mejor los videos que tenemos todos son falsos, pero de que existen, existen.
Is this footage from a movie? Comment below and let me guys know what's going on in Miami.
Right. Is it from a movie? So you can post basically any picture or video of anything right now and slap Miami on it, and people won't know where it originated from. And that's kind of where I'm at with this stuff. Like maybe like people were seeing this creature, or maybe that's from something a completely different event. What are your thoughts on that creature, Foil?
I would be terrified. I don't care if it's nice or not. I would absolutely be terrified. That's for sure. I mean, I don't know, man. I believe the veil is thin? I believe people are seeing crazy things. I believe that we have some weakness in the dimensional barriers, to be sure. I mean, I know what I've seen. It has been weird. Just the things that I've had to deal with have been weird. I can't speak to that creature, but I know that if that thing showed up, yeah, there'd definitely be a reaction from me for sure.
So let's move on to the next one. That's the portal. Okay, so this is I guess a tweet from somebody. I was at the mall. I was at the Miami Mall yesterday, and the government is lying. There were no kids fighting. Everyone started panicking because these great creatures were walking around. They didn't make any noises or sounds, but stared and watched you move. I tried to take a video, but whatever that means. They grounded all flights for a period of time yesterday. They shut down police scanners in Miami area for hours. It wasn't intentional. They had no choice. Whatever these creatures were or are interfere with electronics. Why is there no video of this fight they're talking about? I guess I did see there is videos of the of fights now, but again, maybe those are like old recycled videos too. We don't even know if that's a current video.
Yeah. Or people were just running in pandalirium and fights, and somebody steps on somebody, somebody hits somebody else, and then suddenly there's a fight. I mean, that's completely probable too.
Right. And I mean, it's the most probable explanation if they're going to have a cover story. Maybe not, but
I mean, that doesn't discount that there was a precipitating event that made everybody run,
Right.
It's not for the response with the police cars and the helicopter. It's not a.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, it's not a
that's
problem.
the craziest part of this.
The ridiculous explanation.
So actually, I'm gonna play a clip. It's a couple minutes, if you guys are down for it, of Sherry Divband talking about what she saw when she viewed this, and it's more of the dimensional aspect, interdimensional aspect possibility. So we'll hear what Sherry has to say here. I think it's actually really interesting.
The veil is becoming more and more thin, and when the veil becomes more and more thin, more portals are opening and activating. There's a lot more vortexes of energy. I don't want to talk too much about the event, I'll call it, in Miami, because I don't want to get my channel taken down because they don't want us talking about it right now. But what I will say is that a lot of people have been saying, blue beam. Yes, it could be that technology or others. But when I tapped into it, what I felt like immediately, it was just so clear to me, was that there's so many portals of energy and bleed throughs of different dimensions all over the place. And if there's heightened activity, especially in the cities, or certain hotspots where there's the technology or the towers or et cetera, or government facilities, et cetera, when there are these hotspots, there's the potential for these portals to open or the veil to become thin, and there are bleed throughs between dimensions. So imagine us wandering into a different dimension inadvertently, just because we were walking in the woods and we just happened to go through a portal and we're in another dimension. We didn't seek out to do it. It just occurred. That can also happen in the reverse. So there are, other interdimensional beings that I think inadvertently were in our reality, and that's why they were not threatening. And when they were being shot at, they just were able to teleport or move, and they didn't harm anyone. And a lot of eyewitnesses talked about how they were almost an observation, like seemingly interested in the people that they were seeing and watching them. But they were relatively or seemingly non-threatening. Now, as we get more information, we'll obviously know more. So this is just me tapping into it almost immediately. And I just felt like, that this was an interdimensional kind of a bleed through situation. I don't think it was the technology that everyone's talking about. This is my opinion. Don't get mad at me. I don't want to debate anyone. I'm just giving my 2 cents. Because if it were, they wouldn't be trying to hide it so much, and they wouldn't have closed down airports, and there wouldn't be black helicopters everywhere. If they wanted us to be scared through some sort of technology or a fake invasion, they would have broadcast it so that we would have a collective fear throughout.
And yeah, that's it. So if you guys want to see the full video, it's on her YouTube channel, Sherry Divband, her most recent video. It's like an hour long, and this is towards the end of it. But I got her permission to share this little clip because I thought it was great, and I do think that's a likely possibility.
Yeah, and that lines up exactly with what Elizabeth April got as well. That's exactly, she said the exact same thing. She said it wasn't holograms, it was actual interdimensional beings that normally can do that type of thing and not be seen. But she said because the veils are thinning and because of the heightened solar activity, it made our frequency high enough that they were seen, basically.
Yeah,
and everyone flipped out, obviously, and then that's what happened. So it wasn't intentional, and that's why they weren't attacking anyone. Like you said, they were non-threatening because they're just observing. She said the beings do this all the time. They just observe us, they study us, they watch humans. They're allowed to do this, but normally they're not seen, and they're not used to being seen. And then that time they were accidentally seen, basically, and wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, we're constantly sharing space.
Oh yeah.
We're constantly sharing space.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So this is what I think are actually 2 people walking. This is a mirrored video, and the other video is much clearer and not mirrored, and because the people are actually walking from right to left. So I definitely think that's just 2 people walking. But
yeah, that looks like just 2 people walking.
But that's the one that everyone's using for thumbnails and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even know what this. Oh, that's the jellyfish thing. So the last thing we haven't talked about, I'll stop sharing my screen temporarily here, is the reverse coordinates.
Yes.
And so what's really interesting about this, and Jessica Jones might be joining the live tonight, guys, if she's done with her show, and she might hop on and share her results with us, because it's very true. The coordinates are reversed. If you flip the coordinates south and west, you get the center of Antarctica from the Miami Mall, which one person's explanation was, they put in the wrong coordinates when they were going through the portal, and they ended up in the mall instead of Antarctica, like they got them backwards or something. But so Barry Littleton, she assigned. She gave Jessica Jones. I mean, he gave Jessica Jones a blind target, and she had no idea that it was the mall that she was remote viewing at the mall incident. So she remote viewed that and just shared her results on her channel right before we went live, and she might actually be joining us to share those results. But what I did was I knew Barry already tasked her with the coordinates, so I tasked her with the reverse coordinates. But Barry didn't task her with the coordinates. He assigned numbers to it. So when I sent her the reverse coordinates, she had no idea what she was looking at. And her results were very interesting. It was a completely blind target, but it would indicate that she was in Antarctica. And that was the most curious part about it, because for one, it kind of verifies her remote viewing, but um, she might be coming on here hopefully in a few minutes to share her results with us, which I'm still waiting on her to text me back. But what are you guys' thoughts on that?
So what's crazy about those reverse coordinates is from what I saw, because I saw somebody posting this on Twitter, it's not just like a random Antarctic snowfield. There's actually some kind of research station there.
Really?
There were the little dome tent things set up there, and like it wasn't big like McMurdo or whatever, but it was some little substation at those coordinates, or at least that's what I saw on Twitter. And if it's on Twitter, it must be true. But I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so maybe anything's possible. I wouldn't
Maybe
doubt
they
it.
were trying to get down there and they showed up in Miami and people were like,
Right.
Was it an accident though, or did somebody do it on purpose?
Can
Right.
you imagine
Either
being the
way.
alien or the being like, man, how did we even get here? This is not where we are. Look, why are these people freaking out like this? Like
Like, this
somebody do
doesn't look
something,
like
right?
space.
So,
What?
it's such an interesting time because there's so many things, not just like portals opening and UFOs everywhere now, and like the amount of videos and sightings are off the charts. It's either
Mhm.
the veil is thinning or two realities are merging, and like there's bleed through, like Sherry was talking about, which I think is highly likely.
Oh,
And
for sure.
along with that, if there's a lot of like Tartaria stuff, the ancient structures around the world, there's like these weird glyphs in the lake beds and these things that I'm just looking at these people sharing this stuff, and I'm like, how did no one know about this stuff for the longest time? And all of a sudden, here's this massive thing. And it's almost like they're just popping into our reality. It's almost like reality is emerging. And I wonder if that's just how disclosure is going to be. Like it's just going to keep showing up. And next thing you know, one day it's just all going to be real because it's just like it's now part of our reality. And no one's actually going to come out and disclose it. It's just going
Oh,
to be
I
here.
believe that. I don't think
Yeah.
we're going to get some statement aliens landing on the White House lawn. No, it's just going to be piece by piece, and things we become slowly accustomed to whatever it is until it's like old hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm
It's
going to
not
share
going to come from it's not going to come from like a top-down hierarchical, like governments have to tell us that, like, when did the governments ever
Would you trust it that way
what
anyway?
right. Like all they care
Right?
about is power and control, and they're not going to tell us anything that threatens their power and control. It's that
Right.
simple. So why would they ever tell us the truth about unless it somehow benefits that and them? It's not going to happen. It's going to make governments obsolete. Like disclosure is going to happen, and it's going to make their whole system obsolete because now we don't need we'll come up with a better system that's not what we have currently, where uh governments and media and education system tells us what they want us to believe, and then we just believe it. And no, it's like we're all going to just start figuring out the truth for ourselves, and then we're going to start ETs are going to start eventually living among us, in my opinion, and then we're going to be able to start traveling elsewhere in the galaxy ourselves,
I mean,
and it's going to become commonplace at a certain point.
they already are living among us,
They
and
already are,
right.
right?
And the
But it's
reason
going to become a
foil
well-known, everyone's going to know it, not just a small percentage.
and the reason foil has never been to any of these events is because she's literally in space right now in that cockpit. It's not just the background.
This motherfucker right here is not real.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, this
No, you're
motherfucker
actually there. That's where
right
you
here.
are. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to shift gears into the jellyfish UFO, which is also very interesting. Yeah, that's fine. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna play this video, and Jeremy Corbell, like what you said off camera, Foil, like it's hit or miss with what he covers, but in this case, I do think he's right, and a lot of the people he's interviewed and talked to, this seems to be one of the most verifiable sightings, one of the best actually we've had in a while.
Yeah, seems legit.
And this isn't the first time this jellyfish
Thermal
has
was
shown up.
filmed on a weapons platform. You see that there's a dog there. See the animals are black. I'm assuming this is black hot. You see the object just went to white, and you'll see it going from white to black, white to black. And that's basically showing the heat differential. So it's going like hot and cold, hot and cold. The problem was the optics platform was jammed. These individuals who target with these platforms, they can shoot out an Al-Qaeda tire at 27 miles away, but not being able to lock it was one of the first signs that something's weird. I was able to find direct eyewitnesses and corroborate that this event did happen. When individuals would target in on it with the optics, the way it was described, each of these hanging things, they were stiff, like they weren't moving. They had geometric form, like scales. What was said to me is scales, like an armor. There were also people with night vision who were out, and they were tasked to go look for it. Couldn't see it on the night vision. Only in the thermal spectrum could it be seen.
That's interesting.
But anything that looks like that appears to have a payload, that's a big deal. It could be dangerous, so these are high priority. But what happened is there were a couple other nations involved, and the feeds were just shut immediately. So that put me on high alert too. Why is it completely being shut down? But that's not all it did. It goes out over a body of water. I'm told it stops on a dime, descends into the water, stiff into the water. And for 17 minutes, nothing. And boom, this thing comes up out of the water and shoots off at 45 degrees, just like that.
I know you're laughing about the 17 minutes.
You
Foil.
know I was.
I've seen it. So it's interesting because my friend Katie, if you guys remember the episode we just did with Katie in the chorus, she was in Colorado recently, and she saw one of these things, and she's like, what do you know about like a jellyfish or a squid type of craft? And she drew it, and I was like, I don't know. It almost looked like something like the drone from Star Wars or something, like
Right.
Empire Strikes Back in the snow. And then when this came out, she flipped out. She's like, that's it. That's what I saw.
Like that's what I saw, right?
So she started doing some digging, and I'll read that story in a minute. But there have been jellyfish sightings for going all the way back to biblical times, jellyfish UFO sightings. Flying jellyfish, Halifax Evening News, July 1st, 1954. And one larger machine, a flying jellyfish, which appeared to change shape constantly. That's from a report in 1954. This is from 5,000 years ago, a pictograph. It's not petroglyph. This is technically a pictograph of, I don't know, what appears to be some sort of a jellyfish-looking UFO from 5,000 years ago. Right here in this depiction of Christ, on each side of him is some sort of jellyfish-looking craft. And then this is another report of the 1954 flying jellyfish. So there's just so, and then Foil, didn't you say there were some other videos that you found?
Bro, yeah. Poland, Turkey, California, all the same thing. And then do you remember when I used to tell you all the time, we need to talk about Russian UFOs. We need to talk about one of the biggest UFO cases in Russia was a depiction of a giant jellyfish-like craft.
Really?
Like they're all over the world.
Yeah. And it's weird, like weird, strange, but not that it's literally dating back thousands of years. And it makes you
Mhm.
wonder what, like, this isn't just some, I don't
Mm-mm.
know. It's not just some gray drone or something, right? This is an actual, like, it almost seems
Mhm.
sentient in itself. It
It's
like
Yeah, it's either its own species or it, like you said, looks like the drones in Star Wars. It could be a drone used by a certain ET species that's like going around observing, or whatever.
Well, that and they like you see immediately they try to debunk it. Oh, it's bird shit on the lens. It's a smear on the lens. Like
Right.
that's no,
No.
it's an independent object. Like, come on. Like it's an
People,
independent object. It doesn't
yeah,
stay. It's not in the same when you're looking at the frames. It's not always in the exact same position where if it was
right.
something on the lens, that's what it would be. It's not like that at all. Like it clearly has its own independent space that it's occupying. Like,
Right.
but
But
they immediately jumped to debunk
that's people
this.
that just don't want to believe it, that's the first thing that comes to their mind. They're like, oh, that's
Of
it.
course.
End of
Yeah, the Green
story.
Street
Done.
guy on Twitter, I think, was one of them, you know.
and what did they say? Like it was the thermal that would pick it up, but not the night vision,
Right. Right.
Mhm.
which
Thermal,
is
but
even
not
more interesting.
right. So there you go.
Which reminds me of those, what are those glasses called? Dicenium glasses. Remember that? Dicenium?
Yeah, Dicelian, however you say it.
I
Yeah.
know here I can find it really quick.
That basically makes the they live glasses where you can see into the fourth
Right, right,
dimension.
right. Dice Dicenium, Dysonin, I don't know, whatever.
However you pronounce it.
But anyway, yeah. So that was what's interesting is it's either that or something else. I think it was they were using that in the scopes during the Vietnam War. Did you hear this story? And the guys were having PTSD from what they were seeing through that glass. It wasn't showing up in the night vision. It wasn't showing up in the with their naked eye, but it was through this like thermal Dicenium glass, however you say it. They were seeing other entities, like another realm. They were seeing into another realm. And the one guy described seeing a giant pile of dead bodies and like these like spirits like dragging bodies into the pile, but there was nothing there in our reality. And other
Mhm.
guys were like running for their lives because they were seeing into another reality.
Oh
But
yeah, I'd have had a whole
it
fit.
was all negative stuff, and I think it was that same glass. But it's really interesting that like the thermal picks it up, but not the night vision. And it's something with that infrared that lets you see. Like, remember at ECETI, Aaron, he would have the
Yeah.
infrared light.
Infrared spotlight. Yeah.
So
And
the
he said,
infrared spotlight, you don't perceive it with our visible spectrum.
yeah,
But
thank you for bringing that up because that's proof right there. Because when we already said he put the infrared spotlight onto the field, and the combination of that with the military grade night vision goggles, we were seeing thousands and thousands of orbs flying all over that field, but only with that spotlight, right? You take
right,
the spotlight away, the orbs, most of the orbs go away.
you don't see them with the night vision. They're
You don't
gone.
just see them. The night vision. It had to be the combination of that spotlight and the night vision. And that's exactly what he said. He's like, that allows you to see into the fourth dimension, just like
And
those glasses.
it was literally like full on air traffic orbs. It was
Mhm. Oh, it was nuts.
I've
Yeah,
never seen anything like it in my life. And
me neither.
not only were they flying through the sky, they were going into the earth and out of the earth. They're just passing through
Yeah,
this
they were flying
yeah.
into the earth and coming out.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
And
it was
but
thousands,
but
thousands
it
and
was
thousands.
only in the field, in the beam of the
Right,
infrared light.
right.
So there's something there. And I think obviously our military and governments know. I'm sure they have glasses just like they live that allow them. And that was they think that they live glasses were inspired by these glasses because what the guy claimed was that he noticed that some people didn't have an aura. He noticed that it allowed
Mhm.
him to see people's auras, but then he noticed some people didn't have an aura, and it made him start questioning if these people were real or not. And they almost wonder if that's what the movie would inspired at least that part of the movie.
Right, and
Yeah,
he said Diocletian. Is that the word? Diocletian lens?
Yeah, well, it's here's how it's spelled: Dicyanin.
I'm not touching that.
Wait a second.
Dicyanin.
Hold on. What is it again?
D
Right.
D
Say it one more time.
DIC DICYANIN.
Dicyanin.
Dicyanin dye. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Dicyanin dye.
Sorry, guys. People are probably know how to pronounce it.
We got it finally.
Yeah.
People are like screaming at us. It's dicyanin.
Right.
We have no idea, right?
We're dumb. We have no idea. No.
Yeah. And
Dicyanin.
yeah. So anyway,
It's the people saying NPCs. Yeah, the people with no auras are those the NPCs that we hear
Right.
about? Possibly. That would make sense.
Certainly seems to be enough of them around,
Right. It seems to be a lot of them.
right? So I buy the jellyfish. Now he put out something today, the chandelier UFO. I'm not sold on that. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that one yet, but that looks like you can see the smoke plume squiggling up to it, and then it looks like some sort of a flare. Like that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about that one. But this jellyfish business, I'm absolutely sold on, especially because like the videos from Poland and the video from the one in Turkey, like it's the same thing. You know, it's absolutely the same thing.
right. So I'm reading that account of the jellyfish from 1951. It's really it's the blue lady holding an infant story, like some blue angelic lady, and this jellyfish came up, but it was very much of like it has like biblical ties. It seems to be tied around like it shows up in, these biblical scenes, obviously. I just wonder if it's something way more advanced than we even really understand.
Well, I will say that I did see some speculation that this jellyfish thing almost mimics the description of the seraphim in the Bible.
Interesting.
So,
How is
who
the
knows?
seraphim described in the Bible?
They're not like the angels biblically accurate angels. They're not humans with wings. They're terrifying creatures, eyes all over them, spinning orb with eyes on them, glowing things, not people with wings. Okay. And the seraphim are described almost in a similar way. I mean, I can see, I don't even, let me, because I don't want to misquote here. But I can see where it would be like that jellyfish thing. Hold on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think it's possible. The modern depiction of an angel, where did that actually stem from?
So okay, 3 pairs of wings, but one wraps around and covers its face, right? The second sticks down and covers its feet, and then the third sticks out and helps it fly. So if you can imagine like wings wrapped around, I guess wings, for lack of a better word, wrapped around, sticking down, and then something projecting to help it navigate.
Right.
Maybe,
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely not a human with wings.
Yeah. And I've heard that too. I've actually heard, who did we had a guy a long time ago. We actually talked about this on an episode, and I can't think of his name. You might remember, Aaron, but he talked about the Bhagavad Gita a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the Ophanim.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
Ophanim are the actual wheels of the Lord's chariot, the Merkaba. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They had 4 wheels, had rims, they had spokes, and their rims were full of eyes surrounding them. Okay. They're the Ophanim, the many-eyed ones, right?
Right.
So not at all what we think of, just to throw Bible into this discussion, of course, but
Hey, it always comes up. I'm going to share my screen again. Were you going to say something, Aaron?
No. Go for it.
We're going to play real or fake, and not like we haven't been doing that the whole time anyway.
Right. Isn't that what we've already been doing?
Right. Okay, so I came across this video and I've watched it 100 times. I'm going to play it once at full speed, then we're going to slow it down. And if you don't know what you're looking for a very large figure that appears during a lightning strike.
Oh, holy fucking shit, guys.
Did you see that?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll play it again, once again at full speed, then we'll slow it down.
Oh, holy fucking shit, guys.
Holy fucking shit.
It looks like
guys.
he's wearing a robe and has a cane.
Yeah, somebody said it's Moses.
It's Moses, right?
Right.
So here I'm gonna scrub this very slowly. Now, if we're talking about bleed through of realities right now, if this isn't a hoax, then I think that's exactly what we're looking at. If this isn't a hoax, he shows up. Come on, there. Okay, let's go slow. Obviously, a gigantic being with a cane
Yeah.
right there. Look at that.
That
Not
is a
terrifying
being.
at all.
Right.
I'm
Like
like,
you even see the like robe coming down off his arm.
right. I'm
Like the
like, what
cane
am I
coming out of
looking
his
at?
hand.
Like, I mean, this could probably
And
so easily be faked, I'm sure, and we don't know what to
right,
believe, but
right.
you know, it makes you think. I mean, it really
But there
makes
is a reaction from an individual on the video, which gives it a
right.
little more credence in my book because you'd have to fake that too,
But
or
this,
put it together with a video,
you know, a lot of people say like the Atlantis, Lemuria, all those past civilizations, they, you know, there maybe a version of them died off, but another version of them shifted frequencies and they're still
Mhm.
existing in another
Yeah.
realm.
Yeah.
And if the universe is falling apart right now or bleeding through, you know,
Merging, the dimensions are
merging, and we
merging.
do get a glimpse into other realities. I mean, who's to say that there aren't beings walking around on this planet this size in another realm?
Exactly.
There could
All right,
be.
we're gonna
Melody
play it.
said blue beam Jesus. Oh, not the blue beam Jesus.
Oh, holy fucking shit, guys.
And that's all you need to know.
It's like you see him take a step.
Right, yeah, it's somebody walking. I mean, it's what it looks like. All right, so Foil, it's your turn to tell us about this moon situation.
The moon corpses. This was brilliant.
Yes.
Did I send anything on that? So you actually had sent me a screenshot.
You sent me a few things, and I have links here. So if you want to reference any of these,
Well, you had sent me a screenshot talking about
this.
Mexico's first launch, the Peregrine Lander, whatever, right? So this is actually um, a company that was launching. So it wasn't just, you said there were like little robots. It was carrying scientific payloads as well. Oh yeah, the Navajo were big mad about this. And, you know, oddly enough, they got their way because this was a total catastrophe. So this Astrobotic company launched on Monday towards the moon this rocket, and it was carrying it separated into two different stages. Now one stage was carrying the remains of Gene Roddenberry and Major Barrett and some other, you know, a bunch of other people, cremated remains, and it was supposed to go into continuous orbit around the sun, I assume, until the orbit decays and it crashes into the sun, and then it's, you know, curtains for that apparently. And the second stage was supposed to veer off and go and make a soft landing on the moon and dispense these payloads, some of which were scientific, including these little tiny robots to the lunar surface, but also cremated remains of other people, including some remains apparently from George Washington and some other famous figures, right? They wanted to start this moon rest burial program thing, right? Well, that stage of the rocket had extreme problems where it was leaking fuel and they aren't able to have a soft landing. So it's either going to overshoot its target and just keep going because they've been messing with the algorithms for days, or it's going to crash into the moon, right? Which is crazy. And the Navajo were mad, right? The Navajo filed all manner of protests and petitions to stop this launch, saying the moon is sacred space. We don't want it up there. And then oddly enough, that's the part that didn't make it. Right, but they really are trying to just put human remains on the moon. You know, you can pay a whole bunch of money and get your corpse launched into space. That's what we're doing in 2024. That's crazy to me.
Right, and
That's what we're doing.
obvious. I
Yeah,
mean, for a long time, there's been an actual program company out there where you can have your ashes launched into orbit, and for like thousands of dollars, if you want to, instead of dumping your ashes into the ocean, you could have them launched into orbit, and they just
allegedly. Or you
allegedly.
could just be giving them the 50 grand and they tell you they're launching your ashes
Yeah,
into orbit.
exactly. They send you a certificate in the mail,
Oh,
like,
I got a certificate. It's official
yeah,
then. That makes it completely legit.
yeah.
I got the certificate to prove
Your,
it.
your father is now happily orbiting that planet.
Oh, I feel so much better now. Thank you for that.
Um, but
Yeah.
obviously the Navajo Nation is going to object. I mean, that's and what an insane, stupid idea. Like right
Right?
now, of all the issues and all the crises that are happening all over the planet, and we're doing this. Like it
Let's
just
just
it
go pollute some other shit for a while, right? I'm sure it's fine. This is
But
fine.
they
This is
won't release
fine.
any of the tech that, they're keeping from us that we can actually go
Right?
to the moon really easily or other
No,
planets
no, no,
or,
no. Why would
right.
they do that?
free energy. Why would they do that? Why in
Why
the
would they do that?
world would they ever do that?
Ryo said
None of
it's
the
a
good shit.
Roomba. It did look like they were just launching a bunch of Roombas up there, didn't it? Right?
Yeah,
Right,
they gotta get
right.
clean up some of
Moon
that moon.
Roombas. Moon
Right?
Roombas.
Moon Roombas.
I mean, there's a lot
I
of
need
moon
one.
dust. There's a lot of
There
moon
is.
dust.
Somebody's got to clean that shit up.
All right, so they know about the tunnels.
Oh boy.
These memes have been killing me, but it's actually not funny. I mean,
It's not, yeah.
so
It's
it's
like,
like it doesn't surprise me, and even in the slightest. Like, have you seen some of the videos of the fight in that building with the officers? It's like they got busted. They got busted, and allegedly the tunnels were one of the tunnels led to a children's museum, and they were like small children-sized mattresses. They were, soiled, and there was pretty much.
There was a high chair down there I saw.
Right, right. So I mean, they
Just
busted
weird.
something like, thank God. Like, yeah, the truth, obviously you can't hide forever right now. We're moving into the age of transparency. So things like this are going to surface. But um, I mean, how much do you know about this, Foil? Do you want to kind of fill everybody in on what actually happened?
So allegedly, right? And part of this came out today, supposedly. This is the narrative. There were students over here on a student visa from Israel. They were a member of this, what is it, Shabbat group. Okay. And that synagogue in New York, that's their headquarters. That's their official stuff right there. So apparently these students were this extremist faction of the Shabbat. Okay. And the students started digging the tunnel, and apparently the elders somehow didn't know that for months there were tunnels being dug. And now it's being said that they actually hired migrants to come in and dig these tunnels for them, right? That they started out, and when I said Shalom Shank Redemption, I wasn't kidding. Allegedly, they started out by literally carrying the soil out in their pockets and dumping it. Like they started doing it by hand, and then they hired migrants, supposedly, right, to dig these tunnels, and the migrants were living down there supposedly. And there is a children's museum across the street. Now, I don't know that the tunnel led to the children's museum, but I do think it's weird because we have those videos of the dudes crawling out of the grates and stuff, like coming out of the weirdest places. But that when the elders found out about the tunnels, the elders are the ones that called for the cement truck to come fill them in. Okay, because they were destabilizing neighboring properties or whatever, and they were big mad that these students had started digging these tunnels in the first place. So the elders called to come fill this in with cement, and the students were actually trying to prevent them from filling in the holes, and they started rioting, and that's when the police came. Okay, this is the story that's being pushed now, right? The migrants were digging and down there living, and that the elders didn't know, and they tried to fill it in. And now that they've been caught and those kids have been arrested, the rioting ones in any case, the elders are no longer going to be sponsoring their visas, and they're gonna get deported. So that's the official story as of now. As you mentioned, there was some really weird stuff coming out of those tunnels, right? Small soiled mattresses. You can clearly see a high chair in one of the photos where you can see all the soil that they clearly were no longer carrying out in their pockets, that it was just kind of piled, and there were high chairs and all kinds of weird stuff down there.
Right. So there's a picture of one of the mattresses on the right. I watched this video. This guy is just like nonchalantly crawling
Yeah,
up through this grate
just
in the
came up,
street.
Right, and then trying to hide his face and run away or whatever.
But not dirty at all. Like he's perfectly clean.
Yeah, that was weird, right?
So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like there's a lot of videos of the underground right now. If you notice, like it's like the trend online. People are going underground in their cities and through the street grades, and they're filming everything. And I've been watching those videos, and there's tunnels everywhere, everywhere. And if they were to keep going, who knows what they would encounter? They are sometimes running into other people down there. A lot of homeless people obviously make their homes down there.
Oh, there's
But
a huge tunnel population, tunnel people. Like
right.
that's a whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. And we used to encounter them here in St. Louis in construction
I
when we
bet.
were, yeah.
I bet.
And one time we thought one of the guys was dead, so we called the fire department. The fire department came and just kind of kicked the guy with his foot, like nudged to see if he would move, and he popped up and scared the shit out of everybody. He wasn't dead, he was just drunk. Um, but
Wow.
But what I noticed is, so they're going underneath the streets and the sidewalks, and there's like these scaffolding systems that are holding up the sidewalks. It's people we're walking on top of like the most unstable ground. It's these rigged scaffolding systems, like stuff that would never be OSHA approved. Like, and we're just like relying on it to hold up half the damn city, and it's crazy to me.
There's a video I saw on TikTok where in New York, a part of the sidewalk had cracked and the dude walks up to it and he stomps on it and it falls through and it just falls through and you can see
Right,
it's completely hollow underneath.
right. Yeah,
And if
it's
it's on TikTok, it's clearly, it's clearly true. So
well, I mean, where else are we going to get any information? It's not
I
like,
know.
it's like and
Right.
people use that as like this blanket argument, like, oh, it's on the internet, must be true. But it's like, okay, but just because it's on the internet doesn't mean that it's not true either. How many
Right.
things do you believe in that you can go find on the internet? Um,
Right.
so what
The
else do we
internet's a lot
got?
more reliable place to find information than any of the mainstream institutions, in my opinion.
Right.
'Cause you're getting a very highly controlled stream of information through media, education, government, right?
Yeah, but you can't believe everything you find on there either. You got to
No.
have some.
Right, right. But I'm saying it's
Oh,
way more
I prefer it
open. You just gotta
100%.
you just gotta
Right.
use high discernment and thoroughly do your due diligence.
Well,
But you can find the truth on the internet rather than like you're not going to find the truth
At
outside
all.
of things that are controlled, like I just said. Right.
and what's interesting about that is Aaron and I were just interviewed on a Telegram channel last night, interdimensional something, and they asked us one of the questions from one of the ladies. They wanted some advice for their children right now and parenting, like, because all these kids are growing up into this crazy world. And the
Man.
thing that I think about, I don't have kids, but I told her, I said that what I would tell my kid is do not believe everything you see on the internet. Like I know we take it for granted, but if we're not reinforcing that and stressing that to our children, like they don't know any different. Why would they think that like all this stuff is a lie? They have no reason to believe otherwise. So if I were to tell my any parenting advice, like just make sure your kids know that what they see on the internet, like do not believe everything.
No, you're absolutely right. They have no
Yeah.
basis for comparison. They don't remember the before times.
Right.
Like we're the last, and I don't even know. I mean, Tyler, Aaron, I suppose you guys are old, but we're the last generation that is going to remember what it was like before all of this.
Yeah.
After this, it's done for.
Right. I'm 36, so
Okay. Yeah.
I
So
think-
you
we'll
should
see.
somewhat remember the before times.
I think I was about 11 years old when we got dial-up internet.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Dial-up.
we still have a reference. We have a reference point of what life was like before the
Mhm.
Right.
internet, and
Right.
where people don't know.
Most
And
They
of my
won't
childhood,
anymore.
most of my
Right.
childhood, we did not have
Right.
internet. I had a
No,
couple
you went
friends
outside and did stuff, or if you wanted to find out information, you had to know the Dewey Decimal System or whatever. You had to actually
Right.
do some work, right?
right, exactly.
Like
Yeah, you
now,
did. What
Yeah.
my favorite
Going to a
uh,
library, what a concept! Wow.
mhm.
and there's a old Jerry Seinfeld comedy stand-up bit where he's talking about like how people make friends, how kids make friends now compared to whenever he was a kid. He's like, when I was a kid, if there's kids in front of my house right now, they're my friends.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah,
Like
that's a requirement. They're in front of my house. They're
you're in
my
front of my
friend.
house, in my yard, on your bike. Right, that's my friend.
You get in your 30s and you're like,
Right.
we're just not hiring right
Right.
now.
Right.
I'll give you an application.
Right.
So I don't know if Jessica is gonna make it, unfortunately, but so I did task her with the blind target of the reverse coordinates, which is that base in Antarctica, and she had no idea what she was remote viewing. She got things like cold, dark, subdued, black, suspicious, melted, isolated, below, hiding, solitary, military operation, bunkers, underground, hidden in plain sight. These are the words that she was getting,
Mhm.
not knowing what the target was. I mean, that describes an Antarctica
Right.
underground base.
Right.
And she said that now that she knew what it was, she wanted to maybe do a front loaded remote viewing just to see like if she can really get some details, but I don't think she got around to it today. I was hoping she would be able to come on and share her information about what she actually remote viewed at the Miami coordinates. But if you guys want that information, you can go over to Decrypted Huntress and watch her video that she just did with Barry Littleton, and they went over all those results. I was really hoping she could join us tonight, but oh well, we had fun.
Well, we'll put a link in the description after this airs to that episode so you guys can check it out.
So, Foil, you have, is there anything else that you guys want to cover before we move on to the next segment?
Oh man, we covered a lot today. There'll be plenty more this year, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Sure.
Foil has a couple trivia questions for us. We're gonna have some fun
I do.
bringing this
Nice.
out tonight.
I do. Right? I miss the trivia. We got to do that soon sometime,
Okay,
guys.
so Golden Crisp just said, "Isn't she live now?" She might still be live,
Oh,
which
What
might
up,
be the
Golden
reason.
Crisp?
Which might be the reason she's not here. I don't know, because she was gonna try to keep it at an hour so she can hop on over here, but obviously they must be having fun over there talking about things. So go over and check that out if they're still live. But anyway, oh yeah, so that was another thing I wanted to bring up. Thank you. Check the ley line. So I do think that that location, obviously, I think it's a very specific location. Like it's not just a random place. Like who knows if there's a ley line intersection there in Miami where these
right.
things portal through. Like I just don't think that, and not just the location, but also like let's just pretend somebody did organize this and plan this and they wanted those aliens to pop into our reality in Miami to maybe further along some agenda. We don't know. We have to also look at the date astrologically. I wonder if there's any alignments. Like I wonder the significance of the date and the actual location, the ley lines. Like I haven't done that research, but I would be curious to know if there's anything that stands out.
It's always the weirdness on the ley lines though. Like the energy there just makes it so much simpler for whatever it may bleed through, just whatever. So that wouldn't
Right.
surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yes, Jessica is still alive. Okay, well then hopefully she'll have all the information over there, obviously. But I'm ready for some questions. What do you got
All
for us?
right. All right. I got you. What material did scientists recently observe as having the ability to heal itself? Okay. What material did scientists observe as having the ability to heal itself? Was it A, rock, B, crystal, C, metal, or D, plastic?
I'm gonna go with B, crystal.
I'm gonna go with rock.
Final answers?
Yeah.
See what give it a second. I want to see what your group
I mean,
says.
crystal is pretty much a given. Crystal, it's an organic material. It grows. It has a
grows.
consciousness.
Right.
I mean, it's
Right,
basically like a
right.
plant. It literally
Right.
has a consciousness.
Right.
So that would make the most sense, but I'm just gonna go with rock.
But you're gonna deviate and go with rock.
Is A rock?
Yeah, A, rock, B, crystal, C, metal, D, plastic. Seen a lot of people going with crystal. Yeah, crystal.
Yep. I mean, that's the most obvious to me.
Sorry, guys. The answer is metal. Okay.
What?
Recently observed, right? Metal. Okay. And this had my whole woo just blown out the water, right? Because so recently at Sandia National Laboratories, right? Texas A&M University and Sandia National Laboratories working together found out that metal has the ability to heal itself. They observed a cracked piece of platinum fuse itself back together at the molecular level. Okay.
Hmm.
So immediately I'm thinking, like, I don't know if you remember on Conspiracy Trivia, Tyler, us talking about the gastrobots, like the robots that could actually eat organic material to create energy. They didn't need the sun, they didn't need battery. So I'm imagining, right, these platinum robots that can eat cannibal, eat people running around, healing themselves. We have no way to fight against this robot apocalypse, right? That's immediately where my mind goes. Now they say it's not quite as dramatic as that. Okay. They're saying it was much smaller, but the finding is crazy. So this team of materials researchers did these experiments to test the resilience of the platinum. It was the metal in question was 40 nanometers thick, which is super thin, right? And it was suspended in a vacuum, to be fair. Okay. But they caused these microscopic breaks in the metal. They caught fatigue damage, like maybe you'd see spacecraft going in and out of an atmosphere. You get fatigue damage, right? So they have these little nano cracks in them. So they used an electron microscope. They tugged at the metal like 200 times a second, right? And it makes these little fatigue cracks. In any case, as they're watching, the damage begins to heal itself, right? About 40 minutes into their observation, they saw the crack in the metal fuse and then started healing in other directions as well, which is crazy. Right now, the idea is that the crystalline structures in metal could rearrange themselves under stress and create this kind of like healing effect. They could really take this, as far as material sciences goes, they could use this to do a lot of really cool things. I prefer the terrifying possibilities. I like to go there, but it could be a really cool, we could get some really good scientific developments from this.
What in the
Yeah.
graphene oxide AI takeover are you talking about?
Exactly. Right. I swear I'm just imagining these platinum gastrobots like eating human flesh and running amok and we can't stop them. Like it'd make a great movie, I think. Terrifying movie, but great movie, I think.
Right. That's really interesting and not surprising. Uh, it's actually not surprising. I just listened to David Adair's interview when he was talking about molding metal in the vacuum of space with frequencies
Ooh.
and sound, and they were able to not only mold it but grow it, and it was transparent. They were able to come up with almost like a transparent type of aluminum that was stronger than any metal on Earth.
He said it was
And
1,000 times stronger than titanium,
Ooh.
which
right,
which is the strongest known substance on our planet currently.
but he
So
said
1,000 times stronger.
and he said that this was in the 70s or whenever he was
70s.
whenever
Yeah.
he was developing this technology, and he said that's when NASA came and shut down the program.
They're
But
like, shut it down.
he said conceivably, he goes, they could grow the metal, and he goes, when you hear these people talking about these ETs that grow their craft in space, he's like, it's not a theory, we were doing it, and NASA shut us down. So that means that they didn't like they got shut down, but that project went somewhere else
Went
and
black. Right.
went black and got developed out.
I
But
think they just
he said
stopped.
like
No, come on.
yeah, the craft can be grown in space and it can be an inch thick metal, but it would be transparent. It would literally be a metal but transparent. And
Hmm.
I mean, but they can only grow it in the vacuum of space. And they had, I don't know how they were able to recreate this in the lab, but it was a real thing. So it doesn't surprise me that metal can do things like that on its own. Like we don't necessarily understand it.
No, not at all. Not at all. They're still figuring it out. But yeah, they're gonna. I gotta find that. You gotta send me a link to that.
Yeah.
I'd be
Oh,
interested to.
you'll love it. He mentions it a couple times, but I'll send you two interviews where he talks about it. It's pretty
That
fascinating.
sounds like it's right up my alley.
Hmm.
Yeah, buddy. All right, I got one more for you. One more for you.
All
All
right,
right.
bring it on.
All right. According to the interview that Art Bell did with priest and Vatican exorcist Malachi Martin, what is the third secret of Fatima? I love the secrets. Like that's one of my little topics I love to talk about. Is it A, that Russia would start World War III? B, that the last pope would be under Satan's control? C, that there would be a great alien deception by world powers? Or D, that there would be an assassination attempt on the pope?
Wait, what was the second one about the Pope?
Okay, hold on. Let me go. According to the interview that Art Bell did with Vatican exorcist Malachi Martin, what is the third secret of Fatima? Is it A, that Russia would start World War III? B, that the last pope would be under Satan's control? C, that there would be a great alien deception by world powers? Or D, that there would be an assassination attempt on the pope?
Man, all the above?
Right?
I'm gonna
Right?
go C.
C? Yeah, all right, I'm gonna go with C.
Let's see. Let's see. Frightening Me says A. You sure? Let's see. World War III. So the answer is actually B, right? We're talking about what did Malachi Martin say, not what is the commonly understood third secret of Fatima. It's B, that the last pope would be under Satan's control. Okay. So for those of you that don't know, and then this I consider this a level of woo here, right? So the three secrets of Fatima. So in between May 13th and October 13th of 1917, the Virgin Mary, Catholics, the mother of Jesus, right, appeared to these children, and she told them these secrets, right? The first two secrets were calling for conversion and prayer, and included in the messages was warning about a pending new war and the conversion of Russia. Okay. Now on October 13th, 1917, they knew she was coming back on this date. So 30,000 people gathered to see this miracle that was promised to the children. And 30,000 people saw the sun dancing in the sky. Okay, take from that what you will. Right? This was a mass sighting. All right. So the first two secrets were revealed, right? But the third secret was supposed to, the woman, I think there was two boys and a little girl. The little girl eventually joined the Catholic Church. She was a nun, and she had sworn, the other two died. She swore she was never going to divulge the third secret. But before she died, she felt like she needed to pass it on. She wrote it down and gave it to the Pope. And the Pope was like, nobody's ever going to know this. We're never going to tell anybody this. This is top secret, classified Pope stuff. Okay. Nobody could know. Her name was Sister Lucia. She gave it to the Pope, and for the longest time, all we had was speculation. So Malachi Martin was working for the Vatican, and he gained access to the secret, right? And I mean, this is like, for those of you that love old Art Bell, right? He did 7 interviews with this dude talking about, because he was like the go-to exorcist guy, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but he may have even been the dude they based the book and the movie on, right? So he gained access to the secret, and he swears up and down that the third secret was actually that the last pope was going to be under the control of Satan.
I mean, that's what we're witnessing.
Are we right? I was
Right.
feeling like that might be a little long, although a lot of people do think it's the World War, the World War thing and the Russia thing, because Russia was a big part of the first two secrets.
Right. I mean, I don't know how you know all that, but thank you. But it doesn't surprise me at all. And that was actually going to be my first guess. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, it's pretty apparent to me that that's what's happening right now.
This Pope has done many questionable things.
Right.
Right. Not that I'm giving all the popes a pat. Like, listen,
Right.
I was raised Catholic, right? The Pope thing, though, I don't know if I can rock with that.
Right. Well, thank you for those questions.
Oh,
And I definitely learned something. So, before we wrap this up, I just want to go over a few things. Remind everybody that we just put a poll on YouTube today for our Patreon, the next webinar. If you guys, we figured we would let you guys decide what you want to see next. So if you haven't gone over and voted, go over and vote. It's under a community post. And right now, surprisingly, the QAnon webinar is winning, but I wasn't even going to make that an option, but apparently that's most people want to know about that. So we have no problem deep diving and going back to day one and breaking that down for everybody who doesn't know and wasn't around for it in real time, because or wasn't at least paying attention in real time. But we don't know. The music industry, I think, was a second close runner. Everything is a lie and we can prove it, which we might change the title to "We've Been Lied to" and we can prove it, because we can't
Right.
prove that everything's a lie.
Right.
Can we though?
Right.
I mean,
maybe.
But if you guys haven't signed up for our Patreon, so we do bi-monthly webinars, and the last one we did was Tartaria, which was 3.5 hours long, and we're going to condense it down a little bit and eventually upload it to our main channel. Just edit out all the dead space and stuff and make it as digestible as possible, and then that will be available to the public. But right now, for all the Patreon subscribers, go watch the Tartaria webinar, and Aaron created an amazing index. So as soon as you get on Patreon, it has everything categorized. I mean, there's an extensive library. We're not just putting our stuff on there. We put all the stuff that's been deleted from YouTube, all of our conferences, every presentation from both conferences, and a lot of rare interviews that have, more or less been scrubbed from YouTube primarily.
Some of them, well, a lot of them are still on the internet, but they're not always easy to find.
You're not going to find them if you don't know where to look, type of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And but some of them I don't even think are on the internet. Some of them aren't on the internet anymore, and or some are just very hard to find. Like that anonymous whistleblower, I don't think, is that even on the internet?
Well, yeah, it was actually came from somebody who shared it on Twitter, but I don't even I just snagged it because I know how those things come and
I
go.
tried looking for that. I could not find that on any
and that's
YouTube,
that's
Rumble,
just it. When you that's what we're doing also with the Patreon. So when we find these very rare old interviews and things like that, we'll just download them, and they're going on our hard drive, they're going on Patreon. So because if you're not searching for them, they're not going to pop up in the algorithm. People are never going to know about them. It's like the modern day book burning. They want people to forget about them. They want them to get lost in the wind.
Right.
So we're also doing that on Patreon, and I'm
gonna first time announcing this, but I'm gonna start making some little bonus videos. I'm gonna do some book review videos and like documentary review videos and whatever else I feel like doing. So
oh, nice. See, I didn't even know.
Yeah, see, I didn't even tell
go.
you this yet. But yeah, look out for that if you guys are on Patreon, or if you sign up, be on the lookout for those.
It's only $5 a month or $55 a year, and that link is below. And we literally can't. You guys, are the reason we even can do all of this stuff. So we appreciate all the loyal supporters. Thank you so much for everyone who's been supporting us along the way. The webinars literally take. I don't even know the amount of hours it takes to research and compile those. It's exhausting, actually. It's a lot of work. But it pays off, and it's actually, we're passionate about it. So we really appreciate everybody who supports us. Your last Moon trailer was amazing.
Thank you.
The Moon video, that was something that I just got tired of people, everyone's screaming from the rooftops, oh, the moon landing was fake and we've never been to space. Well, I mean, yeah, the footage, obviously, if you watch
the footage was fake.
If you watch the video, it kind of tells the story and explains itself. We won't go into all of it here, but if you haven't and you're very interested to know the untold story of the moon landing, go check that out. And what else? Let's go through a few of our affiliates that we don't ever get to talk about. We're always promoting Hopewell Farm CBD, which we highly recommend. As always, you get 10% off all their products with promo code JTT new. Actually, 15% off right now. JTT new. That link is below. And it's incredible CBD. We love them. But I'm sure you guys are tired of us talking about that. But what we haven't promoted in a while is the Omnia radiation balancer, which I have here on my microphone, have them on my computer, on my phone. And for those of you guys who don't know what that is, it's not an EMF blocker. What it does is it balances the frequency that's coming in. So it creates a harmony and a resonance that is actually almost beneficial for you. It doesn't just block it, but it's actually it has almost healing abilities in some ways. Yeah.
Right. It goes from being a negative impact on your body to actually a positive, which is huge. So it's, it's great. The blockers are great. It's just blocking it, so you're not getting it. But this is actually almost even a step above that, where it's actually, like you just said, it's almost turns into a beneficial
Right.
frequency.
And it's a type of like Nikola Tesla scalar type of technology. It
Mhm.
looks very insignificant.
It
Um,
looks like a sticker.
right.
You would never know.
But we've had Tim Sanders on a few times in the past, and actually he agreed to come back on again. We're really going to get into some of the science behind this. And I did
Mhm.
have Ken Rolla look at this while I was at ESETI, and he verified it. It's a type of a scalar technology.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they have pendants now and stuff, but you get 10% off all their products with promo code TRUTH, all caps. That link is below as well. And they're really doing some amazing stuff. You can follow Omnia on Instagram. They're always putting some shorts up and, showing the technology, how it works, what the human body does. They muscle test everything. So,
Blood tests, muscle tests, all kinds. They've done all kinds of tests. They show the tests on their website. If you go check it out,
right.
you can see it for yourself. And I mean, firsthand
Oh,
testimonials from people. Tyler, you said
Jessica.
yourself, your headaches went away when you put it on your phone for the
Yeah,
first
so I
time.
will give this testimony. Whenever Tim first reached out to us, he was like, "Hey, he sent us these products, and we had no idea what they were." So I put them on my Wi-Fi router, I put them on everything, and prior to that, I was having chronic migraine headaches. Like it was really bad. Nothing was working anymore. I would lose sleep over it. I would get nauseous migraines. Whoever has migraines, you know what I'm talking about. So it wasn't until like a week later or a few days later after I put all those on the patches on my devices where I was like, wait a minute, I haven't had a headache in a couple days. And then I connected the dots. I'm like, I wonder if it's from those patches. And I'm like, yeah, that so I looked back and like, so they basically stopped the day that I
Right.
that I put these patches on all my devices in my home. And I'm not the only one with that testimony. I just recently read another testimonial of somebody having the exact same experience.
Mhm.
Jessica Jones just entered the waiting room.
Oh, do we have time?
I have time
I got time. You got
if
time,
you
Loyal?
are you good,
Yeah.
Foil?
Oh yeah.
Yay.
But that is a great testimony for the patch, guys. If you're looking for something like that, I would recommend it. It literally saved me. It's it,
They're
I did I
legit.
it
They're
never
legit.
occurred to me that my headaches were from the EMF, the
Right.
electromagnetic
I get them all the
frequency.
time.
Right,
I wonder if it would help. Now you got
Probably.
me curious because I've been having the same problem.
right,
I'm
and
Grab
constantly in
some
front of
Omnia
these,
patches.
right.
right?
Seriously.
So and then
Seriously.
we have like whenever I used to sit here, there's all sorts of devices around me right now. It felt like my blood was boiling. So I put these on everything and it's just like you can just feel it
Mhm.
calm down. So
And
uh
there's other things that help. Organite is huge.
Yeah, I have
Organo.
Yvonne's little
Uh,
stuffs all over now that
yeah.
seem to have helped.
all right, here she
Shungite
is.
helps a lot.
So sorry about the false ending, guys, but
We
Sorry,
lied,
guys. False
right?
ending.
right. So
Psych.
Jessica should be hopping on here in a sec, coming in. And then the last one while she's coming on is Merlin's Lab. He makes so much more than just these pyramids, but he is going to be a speaker. Mason Fury is actually going to be one of the speakers at our conference this year. And he was a vendor last year, and everyone loved this product. He's a wealth of information, and he makes some very unique products. But you can get, I forgot, 10 or 15% off
Whatever
all,
it is.
all of his products with promo code something that's in the description.
we're the worst promoters ever.
Wait, let's look. I'll tell you right now.
Something. It's all in the description.
It is promo code Journey to Truth, all caps. You get 10%
Oh,
off.
couldn't
So he
remember that.
doesn't. So actually, what I do recommend is he makes his own colloidal silver. It's homemade. He makes it himself, and he gifted us some to try, and it's excellent. It's not like the stuff you buy in the store, and I don't know the science behind what he's doing, but I would, if anything, go try some of his colloidal silver. You get 10% off. Promo code Journey to Truth, all caps, Merlin's Lab. That link is in the description. All right,
Hi,
Jessica.
Jessica.
I didn't
Hello.
Buddy,
I didn't know
what's up?
we were about to wrap up. I didn't expect you to hop on over here. So
Oh, well, I had to make my my late entrance. I'm sorry.
hey, it's
I'm so sorry.
perfect.
We
No.
had a
Fashionable.
crowd tonight over on my channel. Barry Littleton was on with me, and we were going over my remote viewing data. I had been assigned some targets over these mall aliens. Okay, and so we were just we were going over that. So I'm sorry, I was just fashionably late tonight.
So I know you just went over all of it, but for our
We did.
audience who missed it, what were your results on the actual? So Barry gave you the blind target of the Miami Mall, and you didn't know what you were remote viewing. It wasn't front loaded, right?
No, I do coordinate remote viewing, which is where I am given a set of coordinates. It's a set of numbers. For each target, I get 8 numbers. And so for the first target, okay, so I think there were two different targets involved in what we went over tonight. But on one of those targets, I went into it 3 different times, got deeper and deeper into the target. And the first one, excuse me, the first one was the mall. The incident at the mall. And man, I've been talking too much tonight, apparently. But the first one was the mall incident. And okay, so long story short, in a nutshell, I did pick up, I was picking up on holograms. Okay, holograms. Okay, when you're remote viewing, you don't know what you're looking at. And so I was trying to like make sense of what I was seeing. And I was absolutely 100% in a shopping mall. Okay, that is actually in the data. In a shopping mall, I was smelling cookies like I was at the mall, like at the cookie store. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And so but I was there. I was seeing something that was staged, almost like something was on stage. I actually wrote down the Tupac hologram. Okay, so if you guys know, if you're familiar with, there was a time where I think Tupac, the rapper, was up on stage after he had passed away. They had him up there as a hologram, and so your brain. I write down what I know, and so that's kind of what I was seeing was just holograms and stuff. So we pretty much concluded through the data. There was a whole bunch more data. We pretty much concluded that it was some sort of a hologram kind of event, and I'm just going to put it out there. I don't think it was actual aliens. Okay, according to the data. But Barry had given me a target that I did the three tries on, and that was some sort of virtual, it was, what do you call it? Virtual reality scenario technology. Okay, something out of a alien spacecraft that he had actually been on. It had been shown. And I remote viewed that. It was a whole bunch of AI stuff. He connected all that. It's all connected to what was going on because the technology that I was remote viewing was actually the same technology that was used at the mall, we do believe.
Interesting.
Okay.
So so it's very likely, I mean, we kind of came to the conclusion that maybe it really was a portal and maybe we were seeing some sort of bleed through, but obviously we didn't know and I hadn't heard your data yet. So that's interesting and I'm not surprised at all. It could very easily be that. And I know you're very credible remote viewers. So and obviously that's one of the big theories, right? The blue beam technology. Regardless, it's still impressive that they're like able to pull that off. And, maybe maybe they're testing the technology to see a crowd response. And, without the police knowing, without anybody knowing, they're going to see how law enforcement, how everybody responds in a situation where it appears a portal opens and some beings come out. And I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was a test. Right. That's a good point.
This is only a test. Well, that's what I said right off the bat. I thought it was some sort of interagency operation. Like I just felt like that's what I thought at first, but then I was like, I don't know, maybe
But
not.
I was like, well, if it was I'm like thinking the media would be in on it if it was one of the mass fear psyops that's supposed to be. Everyone's supposed to be afraid.
But maybe the media,
oh my God,
maybe the media wasn't in on it. Maybe maybe this
they weren't
was done unbeknownst to everyone by some
Maybe
clandestine shadow group.
Right.
Oh,
They're
I gotta
just
tell
like,
y'all
what?
something.
Let's do a test.
What's that?
Okay, so I got to tell you something. This is interesting that you're talking about that because for whatever reason, Project Mockingbird was in my data.
Really?
Yeah, for the target. Actually, I think it was for the mall target. Yeah, for what was going on in the mall. I picked up on. I actually have written in that data. This is a blind target. I have written down CIA Project Mockingbird, and I can't remember. Oh, NWO is in my data too.
Oh yeah.
Of course, but that's in my data. So that was the very last thing. I think that's when I shut the target down after a few pages of data and a bunch of I got a ton of data on it. But yeah, that was included in that target. So, but ultimately remote viewing data is remote viewing data. Okay. It's not the end all be all. It's just what came out of those numbers that I was given. So
And then,
I stand by it though.
right, of course. And so I tasked you with the reverse coordinates, which you didn't know what you were looking at. And I kind of read over some of your results earlier because I didn't know if you were going to hop on or not. But I mean, I think you nailed that target as far as like, I mean, you described the Antarctic underground perfectly in your data. And I don't know if you wanted to expand on that.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you something that was really interesting about this target is that, I'm left to kind of go over it after I get done, not knowing what these are. I'm analyzing the data, kind of putting out like the emanations and stuff. Like, what is this? Okay, like what was I looking at? And Tyler, I got to say, on this target, when I came out of this target and I was looking at the data, I thought, okay, I'm either in Miami, I'm not Miami, Maui. I was thinking I was like underground in Hawaii or Maui. Okay, that's right. Or Antarctica. Okay, so I know those are two totally opposite places, but I was like, okay, I'm either in Antarctica or I'm in Maui. Okay, and it turned out I was in Antarctica. So I also but after the target was over, I kept hearing, like as I was analyzing, I kept hearing New Swabia or something like that. I kept hearing that over and over again.
New
So
Schwabenland, yeah,
New
that's
Schwabenland,
Antarctica.
That's Antarctica. Yep.
okay, so I was hearing that, so that totally makes sense. But I was picking up on like directed energy weapons and things like that. I don't know a whole lot about Antarctica. I did a show on Antarctica, but I was just kind of talking about Antarctica with a friend of mine, and so I don't know a whole lot about the underground military stuff going on over there. But I think that's really interesting that they had coordinates that you switch them up, and it's the inversion basically. It's Antarctica.
Right.
Right.
It's really odd. It's very suspicious.
Yeah.
To me.
That is very suspicious. That was actually one of your words, hiding in plain sight. I mean, and you had one of your words is melted, and it's been described on, the ice. Actually, the reason the tunnels were created is because the ice is being melted from underneath, and the caverns that are there that have been occupied were created through melting. So that was interesting. And I mean, obviously, you have a couple pages of data, but some of your information, like it just clearly, it seems that you were describing some sort of military facility, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. And and I actually was contacted today by someone who was telling me that there's not supposed to be a base there. Okay, and the ones that are known about, I think there's one that's like, I think he either said 500 or 50. I think it's 500 miles away. There's like a British installation or something from those coordinates. Okay, so there's not supposed to be anything there.
Well, what did you
but
find?
There seems to be something there.
Oh, sorry, didn't you find something, Foil, about?
There was something that, yeah, like I said, it wasn't anywhere near McMurdo, but at that location, there were people. I mean, there were just a small installation, like a few little tents or something that could easily cover an entrance to like a lower enclosure or something to that effect. And it's funny because Jessica, you mentioned like you got like energy weapons when you were doing your. So we recently had a really credible whistleblower come out, and I want to say maybe Greer found him, but then he made the whole circuit. But it was just a technician that was working in Antarctica that was talking about how they had the energy project down there, and the thing could be used to create all kinds of ruckus everywhere else. Do you remember that?
You talking about Eric Hecker?
Yeah.
That sounds right. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we know him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was actually, he definitely, he said
him on the show. We've had him on the show before.
But
Did
he
you?
did.
Okay. Oh yeah,
He
you
did.
did.
Yeah, he did say
ago.
the neutrino detector, the neutrino ice cube detector, and He said it can be he believes it's a communications device for space programs, direct energy weapons that can create earthquakes with it.
Hmm.
And so,
Yeah.
I mean, that's McMurdo though. Like that was at
That was
McMurdo.
at McMurdo.
Yeah,
Well, whatever was there were just small structures.
right. Yeah, but I mean, obviously there's more than one
Yeah,
McMurdo,
there's
right? Like,
numerous little installations in different
yeah.
places on the continent
Well,
down there. Yeah.
Eric says he calls it the South Pole Station. So that would be the South Pole, right? Isn't that what Eric Heckard?
Oh, maybe I
South Pole
misunderstood him.
Station.
I
That is
thought it was
South Pole
McMurdo.
Station. No, it's not McMurdo.
Um,
So he was at the South Pole, actually.
right. Well,
Um,
interesting. Either way, but that's corroborating testimony right there
right, right.
of your data. Um,
Yeah.
so what else is
Yeah.
new in your world,
Me?
Jessica?
Oh man. Man, I've been doing a lot of remote viewing, it seems like. But it's just, trying to solve the mysteries of the world and the universe. That's all. Not too much more. Other than that, just staying busy.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, you got to send me more targets. Tyler, you send me the best targets. So thank you.
I mean, I've only sent you two so far, but
And they're the best.
well, I don't
love
want
them.
it like I don't want it like you're not like a party trick to me or something. I'm not just gonna
Right.
just start sending all this stuff. I want to respect your time
Oh
and stuff.
no.
So
Well,
unless
you know
I
what?
have
I don't take targets from anybody usually, and so, but I do trust you, and I think that just like with Barry sends me targets pretty often, and I think it's important because if I've got these abilities to know how to do this and I've been trained in it, let's do it.
right. Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
Right. But I just don't want to unless I have something I actually want to know about. Like I'm sure I could sit here and just make a whole list of places to send you, which I might do now because you were asking me. But
Yeah. Well, I'll do it when I get time, but I'll do
right.
it. Okay. I'll do it
Right.
because I do this for fun. I don't do it because I have to. I do it because I want to.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, thank you for hopping on so late. I know you've just been on the show for 2 hours and you're probably exhausted. So, and we're getting ready to wrap this up here, but thank you for coming on and sharing all that. And I think it was a perfect way to end. And I hope you're having a great new year already. And I hope everyone's having an amazing year. We've got no shortage of woo already.
Nope.
Yeah.
2024 starting with a bang.
Right.
With the woo.
I mean,
The
if it's a sign
forecast
of
is strong.
if it's a
Yes.
sign of things to come, like who knows? Like nothing's off the table. Nothing is off the
No, and
table.
it's an election year. It's just going to be ruckus all year. I'm excited to see it.
Oh my God, the
Right.
election year. Yeah. Right. So that was
Right.
something. This is just so that was something. Actually, one last thing. What's that guy's name? I was trying to have you look up earlier. Foil Benny or the right wing extremist.
Oh, Benny Johnson.
Yeah, Benny Johnson. So allegedly on one of his recent interviews, they were talking about the Miami Mall. And he said in the interview that Trump tweeted out or truthed out or something, or replied to somebody's comment something along the lines of, why don't you tell them what really happened in Miami? But we were not able to verify that at all. It's in the interview, but we are not able to verify it anywhere on social media that he actually said that. So I didn't want to cover it, but I was like, if we can find that, that would be very interesting.
Right.
But that never happened. So, anyway, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up unless you guys have something else to say.
It's been a pleasure as always, sirs.
Thank
It was
you
nice
so much.
seeing you, Jessica.
Well, first of
Thank
all,
you for letting me come on. This is awesome. It's
well,
good seeing
Foil,
y'all.
Jessica and Foil, let the audience know how they can find you, where they can follow you, and all that jazz.
Okay. Well, you guys can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com. And also I have a really cool YouTube channel called The Cryptid Huntress, where I have live shows throughout the week. And then I'm on Spaced Out Radio every Saturday night, or not Saturday, y'all. I quit Saturdays. I'm on there Sundays. Okay. I didn't quit. I just do Sundays now. And so that's 10 p.m. Eastern every Sunday night on Spaced Out Radio. So thank you.
And Foil,
Wonderful.
are you doing anything? Are you active at all on your channel?
I do plan on coming back. It's Loyal to the Foil, guys. You already know. YouTube, Foxhole, Rockfin. You can find me there. I'm on Twitter at Foil and I do post on there periodically. But yes, I will be making my grand return at some point. Just taking a little break.
I mean, you're a great researcher and your videos were good.
Thanks.
I remember when your first video came out, it like just took off. It went, how
Oh,
many
that was
views?
crazy.
Like,
Yeah,
what
that
was
was
it?
crazy.
80,000 views right after
Yeah,
that.
yeah, like yeah, and then they
And then they just like put the brakes on their channel. They
sure
just shut
did.
the door, and then you were getting like nothing after that, and it was so sad to see. But I mean, you're such an excellent researcher, and your videos are good. And
Well,
I hope that
thanks.
library is still on your
Oh
channel. Is
yeah,
it?
I haven't
Yeah,
taken anything down. It's all
yeah.
there.
But I mean, I would encourage you to keep going and find another platform, because you have some great informations, and we all appreciate that.
Well, thanks.
Okay, guys, good night. We love you. We can't do this without you. And come to our conference. Come hang out with us in May 13th through the 16th, Grafton, Illinois, rebelsofdisclosure.com. Get your tickets. If you can't make it in person, grab a live stream pass and join us virtually. We hope to see you all there. We love you and good night.
Good night, guys.